A reading from the letter of Paul to the Romans. Brothers and sisters, owe nothing to anyone except to love one another. For the one who loves another has fulfilled the law. The commandments, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not kill, you shall not steal, you shall not covet, and whatever other commandment there may be, are summed up in this saying, namely, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. Love does no evil to the neighbor. Hence, love is the fulfillment of the law. The word of the Lord.
Our second reading for this Sunday comes from the letter of Paul to the Romans. We were just reflecting on the tremendous love of God for us sinners. God does not wish that we end up in a disastrous end. God keeps on sending messengers so that the wicked person could turn back to Him. This is the love of God. Shown is in God's patience, in God's capacity to wait for our conversion, and in His sending prophets, people who will remind us to turn to God. Now, the second reading talks again about love. St. Paul tells the Romans that we should not owe anybody anything. No? Wag kang mangungutang. The only thing that should bind us to somebody else is the debt to love one another. You know, when we owe something to anyone, that person to whom we owed something has a perpetual hold on us. Diba? When we are walking and remember, oh, I owe this person who is coming close to me something, we pretend that we have forgotten something and we turn back. Because we know we are indebted to this person and that person has a claim on us. But according to St. Paul, the claim that we have over each other is love, the debt that comes from our obligation to love one another. And according to St. Paul, love of neighbor as we love ourselves is the summary of all the laws. And love of neighbor is also the fulfillment of the law. All the other laws expressed negatively, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not murder, you shall not steal, you shall not covet. All of these things, evil things that we should avoid because God has made clear His commandment. All of these, according to St. Paul, are summarized in love of neighbor the way we love ourselves. But I want to point out that St. Paul enumerates the law of love in a negative way, what we should avoid in loving. So he is saying that adultery is not compatible with love of neighbor, so you should not commit adultery. St. Paul is saying murder, killing somebody else, is not compatible with love. I cannot say, oh, I love you, let me kill you. No. So, if you want to love, you avoid killing. You avoid murder. You avoid stealing. You avoid envy. All of those things that are contrary to love. But if we look at the whole of the New Testament, in fact, the whole of Scriptures, love is not just avoiding what will harm other people. Love also involves doing what is good for the neighbor. These two aspects of love must be kept together. Some people specialize in avoiding evil, but they don't do anything in order to actively be agents of love for their neighbors. So, St. Paul reminds all of us, we have heard God The law of God is like the prophetic voice. And the law of God is all about love. And through this law, we will avoid not only harm for ourselves, the harm that is brought about by sin, but we avoid being the cause of harm to our brothers and sisters. This is how love should be total. I do not wish anything evil on others. Instead, I also become an instrument of God's active love towards others. Our families, our communities, our whole nation, the whole of humanity, we all need this type of love. Let us heed it. Let us be agents of God's love, not just by avoiding what is harmful to others, but by doing what is good for them.